वेलकम करेंगे हम मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर महाराष्ट्र मेट्रो रेल कॉर्पोरेशन लिमिटेड. प्लीज वेलकम श्री Shravan Hardikar on the stage, please. Including, I would love to call partner and Rigs Consulting Market Leader, PwC India, Shri Manoji Trivedi on the stage. Also, I would like to call moderator AVP Global Logic, Mr. Amit Kare, as well as. Please welcome Shri Sanjay Ji Meena, Shri Shravanji Hardikar, Shri Manoji Dwivedi, and Mr. Amit Kare on the stage. Thank you. Thank you. Please have a seated. May I request Mr. Ajay Kapoor to please welcome our extreme dignitaries by the ceremonial shawl on the stage to each and everyone. Thank you so much. It's been an honor. Welcome, sir. Good afternoon and welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much. Once again, a very warm welcome, everyone. Please kindly settle down and make sure your phone's on the silent mode. We are moving to the last session of this evening. And I request and hand over this podium to Mr. Ajay Kapoor, EC member, convener, IT, and president and founder, Accent Business Solution, for the welcome and the keynote. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ankita. Thank you for handling this very, very efficiently throughout the day for us. I assure you, this is the last time you're hearing me for the day. I'm sure you have been tired hearing me since morning, but just a little while. Good afternoon again. I'm sure, everyone sitting here is as mesmerized as I was with, the knowledge that has been showcased since morning, and especially in this session. Lovely to see, how Maharashtra is at the forefront of creating a policy which I'm sure will ensure that, a lot of corporations will be taking stock of. Thank you again. Good afternoon. When we talk of GCCs, we obviously talk about policies, incentives, and cost advantages. But this session is something far more fundamental. It is about city. It is about cities. GCCs, definitely, the policy has a role to play, but GCCs are not built inside the policies. They're built inside the cities. India today hosts more than 1,800 GCCs, employing close to 2 million professionals. But the next wave is not chasing cheaper locations. They're chasing better ecosystems. इसलिए आज का सवाल ये नहीं है कि can Vidarbha attract GCCs? The real question is Vidarbha designing itself to be GCC ready? Vidarbha is no longer asking for its opportunity or rightful presence. Vidarbha is it preparing for this opportunity? When policy, planning, and execution move together, cities start winning. This is not a panel or a commentary, which we are going to be talking of. This is a panel of decision makers and implementers telling you exactly what we are going to be doing in this city. यहाँ सिर्फ ideas की बात नहीं होगी, implementations की बात होगी. Today's conversation is about what is already happening and how fast can we scale it to ensure that we come out GCC ready and winning. GCCs don't bet on incentive, they bet on the cities and the trust that we can establish with our infrastructure. Thank you so much. Without much ado, I will hand over the stage to Amit. Amit, your opportunity, you have luminaries here. I'm sure, you will get the best out of them for the benefit of the public here.
Thank you, Ajay. I think in the earlier panel, we talked about the different angle of GCC from the talent, technology, execution, strategy. While those are very, very important aspects, but more than that, before any company making a decision to start the GCC, one of the key aspects is related to the urban development. I think we are blessed to have such among panel who are not only the policy makers but also the executioners. And that also shows, yesterday we talked about also in inaugural session, that how Maharashtra is very forward looking. And there were some examples which were quoted, how we were signing some of the new MOUs or the new deals. They were faster than the lightning speed. This is one of the key example. Our panel member, not in this panel, but they were also patiently hearing and, in the previous panel. That shows how Maharashtra is progressing and what is the reason. So officers like you, thank you, sir, for joining us. We are very blessed to have you. The success of GCC depends on more than just the talent, as I was mentioning, and it requires a city that offers speed of setup, the ability to live quickly, quality of life, ensuring professionals and their families can live well, and how the infrastructure is scalable. And today we'll talk those aspects. We also have Manu in the panel. The reason is Manu brings the perspective while he's advising the global GCCs for 18 years. What are those different factors are required? And then we'll hear from you, sir, how as a city we are ready to address those requirements. So maybe I'll start with Manu, you, from your vast 18 years of experience working with the global GCCs, advising them, what are the top 3 urban environment factors companies evaluate when deciding on a city beyond the cost and talent? And one more thing, I can't stop myself from mentioning, Manu is more Nagpuri than any one of us. He has been fab in supporting all of us in this entire session. Thank you, Manu.
Yes, thank you, sir. Okay. Thanks, Ahmed. Last time, last session, I heard fellow panelists thanking AID for inviting them. Absolutely, I would like to thank AID, Ashish ji, Ajay ji, and the extended team. But अगर आपने नहीं भी बुलाया होता तब भी मैं आता. The reason is I don't want to miss this bus, right? So I was eagerly waiting. 1 month back, अभी तक invitation नहीं आया. Then I thought like मैं तो जा रहा हूँ, ticket book कराते हैं. So that's because this is Nagpur. I was here last year, and what has changed in last 1 year for me when I see it from as a consultant, as an individual who is following GCC. So I established first GCC in 2008. So that time we used to call it a back office and also. So what has changed is we have the GCC policy being rolled out, one of the milestone for the state, and I was part of the GCC council with the ministry, had an opportunity to share some views. Then we have seen, so that time the discussion was, क्या हमारे पास एक भी GCC आ सकता है? So we have one, CNR we have one, and in many ways our SIs, large organizations, they are supporting global organizations. So those smaller GCs are hubbed in their infrastructure, but they are operating from Nagpur. So I'm fully convinced this is the way. And couple of things, we talked about, do we need 2,000, 3,000 people? No, we don't need. The first GCC which I have worked on was for 25 people, right? And this 2,000 for any GCC takes 2 to 3 years, even in Bangalore of the world or Hyderabad, whatever. We don't need to focus on that one. So what 3 things which we need to look into? I think the challenge is not about hiring people. The challenge is about having people continue to work with you. I heard Ajay talking about reliability, Rajesh talking about how convinced people are to stay with you. So when you hire people, are you able to provide them the infrastructure, the urban infrastructure that the family comes over? And when you talk about a GCC, it's not just a startup, right? I have my dear friend Karthik here. He's no more a startup. He's a $1 billion company, but you need people across the pyramid. You need executors, you need coders, you need managers, you need senior managers who are married, they have family. So do we have that urban infrastructure in place? That's very important, and I think we are super ready for that one. Second is, once this is done, what GCCs are worried about is, will my manager or senior manager will be worried about whether we will have electricity or not, whether my people will be coming to our office or not. whether there will be a flood or not, and people, the operations will be on or not. I think we are ready for that one. So that's the second thing. The third thing is when you have all these two in place, the third thing is, does my ecosystem is in place? Right? From where I will get my manager, where I will get my senior manager, lateral. And I think we already have that in place. So these are the three things where I come across. I'm not looking at a startup ecosystem right now for a GCC, but I'm looking for a matured Nagpur. And I'm very much convinced that we need to be there and we have right for that. I mean,
Yeah,
slightly longish answer, but I couldn't hold my emotions with Nagpur.
No, thank you. I think I'm glad that we are getting there as a Nagpur. So maybe I'll move on to Sanjay Meena sir, who is the Metropolitan Commissioner, Nagpur Metropolitan Region, which is responsible for the plant development of a massive 3,500 square kilometer, which is very massive, and also now the new smart city happening. How is NMRDA prioritizing specific growth corridors in Nagpur to ensure they become the preferred innovation district, as our CM was calling for the GCCs? Your perspective on that?
To give you the first perspective of Nagpur, Nagpur Municipal Corporation area would be around 285 square kilometer, if I'm correct. Near about 50 square kilometer has been taken up by 29 odd Nagar Panchayats and Nagar Palikas. So we are talking about around 325 square kilometer to 350 square kilometer, catering the whole population of Nagpur, which is near about 40 lakh currently, around 40 lakh. So the density of population, if we'll calculate, it is coming at around 12,000 to 13,000 per square kilometer. Now, we are targeting 3,700 square kilometer, comparing the Nagpur, existing Nagpur, and planning the 3,500, 10 times bigger the area. It is a humongous challenge, obviously. So, we have to go step by step. The first step is, we identified that there is a lack of business district in Nagpur, which is supposed to be there. So we started working on a concept of business district, and last year we got it sanctioned called Navin Nagpur. It's a 1710-acre business district township near airport, around 4 kilometers away from it. And we would be targeting GCCs, companies, headquarters of corporate organizations to come to Nagpur and set up their base over here. The second urban challenge what we had found is the Nagpur Ring Road has already, the urban expansion has already crossed the current ring road. So we went to government and asked for a new ring road. Last year we got 148 kilometer new ring road sanction, and we would be targeting as multimodal corridor hub, where the logistics and other companies could set up their base. What is in the pipeline? Probably an industrial corridor. I cannot divulge much detail on it, but it will be huge. And the next is township planning, what we want, because if we are looking for the population who will be serving as business district, then we need to have town planning schemes also. The other is regarding the infrastructure, bringing water and electricity to these places. These are the huge infrastructure that we have to cater in future. But we are a sister concern like MMRDA. MMRDA came into existence in 1968 and they have experience of more than 50 years. We came into existence in 2017, 8th year. Probably we are a kid in front of them. Comparing the old organization with the new organization would not be a good idea at this moment. But we are planning for the next 20 years how Nagpur will be catering and how Nagpur will be welcoming all these organizations to cater to all the population, because what we had seen in future, because of lack of opportunities and jobs in Nagpur, we had lost a lot of brains to other cities. If we'll talk about GCCs, I think 42% is constituted in Bangalore itself, Pune, Mumbai, Gurgaon, and the upcoming tier 2 cities like Ahmedabad, Surat, Indore. If we will not do it right now, we will lose this race also. But we are targeting that in next 5 years we'll be ready with the modern infrastructure in place, so that any company who wants to set up base in India would be preferring Nagpur, because in GCC also the third word is in GCC.
Yes.
What's the third full form of GCC? What's the third word? Center. What is India's center? Exactly. That's what we will be targeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to Shravan Hardikar, sir. नागपूरकरांना सर नवीन नाही आहेत. Sir was a municipal commissioner at Nagpur earlier. Now he is a managing director for Maharashtra Metro Rail Corporation India Limited. And Maha Metro has really changed, has been a game changer for Nagpur with almost 100,000 passengers taking it daily. Would like to understand, as you know, connectivity is a key enabler for GCCs. How is Nagpur Metro transforming the overall urban mobility for professional and businesses, considering even the last mile connectivity, which is very critical beyond the only metro running?
Thank you. Good afternoon, all. Thank you, AID, for inviting me for this session. First of all, it's metro. If you say metro is a innovation or it was a necessity, but whatever you may say, one good thing that has happened after getting metro is that Nagpur has become a metro city. Now it has that shine, now it has that grace, and it has got that poise to attract and retain youth and people all alike. लगता है हम कहीं तो अच्छी जगह पे रह रहे हैं. So that gives you the first criteria tick mark for a consultant that this is a metro city, and we can suggest our clients that yes, you may consider Nagpur as a tier 2 investment center. I'm very happy that Prasad and his entire team is here for whole 2 days. Now I'm sure that once they start telling their clients that yes, you can explore Nagpur as a possible GCC base, many people will come in here. That's my first problem, which is solved by you guys being here, because you guys speak of all the things, and whatever you may speak in these symposiums, eventually what you are going to speak in their ears privately is what is going to be done. So what I would like you all, PWCs and KPMGs and McKinseys of India, you should start telling people that Nagpur is a metro. Nagpur means business. It is a center of business for future, and it can attract talent, it can retain talent, and rest everything will be taken care of. Once we start doing this, these two gentlemen here on the behind screen have done a great deal of service to this city, and we are all working towards bringing more and more investment for this purpose. Now, coming to the point of infrastructure, social infrastructure, I would say GCC is an extended version of BPOs of the earlier times. Prasad said that I was part of first BPO establishment way back in 2000. Technologically, I was part of Wipro team and AT&T team who were doing the VoIP installation in 2000 to establish the first call center of India. Now, GCCs have moved much ahead than the call centers. Call center was a very monotonous, low skill expectancy kind of a thing, because you just needed to speak English, and they would tell you FAQs, you need to by heart those FAQs, and you just need to speak in those accented English. But GCCs mean more. Now, good thing that tier 2 cities like Nagpur have an advantage over many others group class 1 cities. Hear me out very patiently. All the students here will definitely strive to do something after this. Paitankar has said that this is the place. Ramdev Baba Engineering College is proven that the students are good, but I am trying to make a different point, that all the brilliant academic students always manage to find great scholarships and move abroad or to the greater institutions, known institutions in the mega cities of India. And I am now in Pune also, I am also holding the charge of PCMC, and I see a huge influx of talented young students moving into these cities. But the new innovation that is you are looking for from GCCs is going to come from middle strata students who have done not just academics, but they have had a world view. They know what jugaad is. They know how to live, how to survive in the drastic and difficult circumstances. And these are the students who are coming from the tier 2 engineering institutions who are going to come up with brilliant ideas for applicability to the people. And these are going to be the new drivers of growth in the GCC centers. Finally, my problem as a administrator, especially in an urban space, is when I see Pune, when I see Bangalore, and when I compare it with Nagpur, my only challenge that is how to retain a high-paying young mind. Highly paid young mind, highly paid middle management, because their needs need to be met in this city. And their needs go much beyond how good mobility is. Metro is here. Wonderful mobility is available in Nagpur city. Wonderful water is available in Nagpur city. In Bangalore, people are craving for bringing water by tankers. Pune is also suffering a little. Pune is much better off in terms of water. But see Nagpur, despite having such a big city center, we are flush with water. Recycling is good, so we are not having shortage of water. But despite paying through their noses for tankers, people are still moving to Bangalore. People are still moving to Pune. If you go to Pune, the traffic jams are so high that average speed in Pune is less than 18 during peak hours, which is at 35 plus in Nagpur during peak hours. Yet people are wanting to coming to Pune, and only reason is the social infrastructure that city provides. It looks for livability beyond infrastructure. The livability in form of entertainment, livability in form of quality institutions, livability in terms of taking one extra trip per day for my own well-being, for my own my skill improvement or my entertainment or whatever, for my sports or some activity. And this social infrastructure is what we are now creating in Nagpur. Now this is the last missing element. If you go to Bangalore, you have MG Road, Brigade Road complex where everybody wants to thrive at the evening. In Pune now there are 3 high streets where all the youth want to hang out. What do you have in Nagpur? I see few CREDAI members sitting here, and they need to sit back and start thinking of creating not just beautiful houses, not just beautiful apartments, but more than that, how to create that lively ecosystem of life. Once there is good life, I think GCCs don't matter. GCCs will come where life is. See, technologically, the earlier panelists have spoken. Now the bigger challenge, even Vikas said that his first member of the team wanted to go to London. My challenge is to bring him back from London. So what I would say, instead of calling top 500 global entrepreneurs, I would say just call out to our own blood who are already working in top 500 global companies all across India, all across world. Give them an option that I will give you wonderful, happy life, vibrant life in Nagpur city. Just move back to where you belonged. And I'm sure at least 1 lakh quality manpower will come back to Nagpur. And now the challenge begins is to retain them. Now I am already a metro city. NIT chairman and NMRDA commissioner, NMC commissioner, everybody is geared up to provide the best of the infrastructure. But friends, social infrastructure is what you need to create. Let's start creating something. We are here to facilitate. Ease of doing business is here. Everything is available. Whatever talent is available, ideas are available. Now the educational institutions, medical fraternity, everything is available here. We cannot be well poised to launch as a GCC hub for India, but let's do something one step at a time to create that life and social atmosphere, livability in Nagpur city. And we are here to create. Nagpur Metro is a good connector. It not just connects parts of the city, but it connects people. And along the metro corridor, we are creating a wonderful transit-oriented development, which is going to be a vibrant space for future, where people can live, people can enjoy. I'm sure there are so many avenues in which people can enjoy. But if I want to see a movie, if I want to see a drama, I want to see a play, I want to join a sports complex for my physical activity, I just want to hang out in a club and just dance my mind out all throughout night, because that's what is, as per youth, this is what the life is, and this is what we need to create, and that's what spends the money. That if you want to see tiger, it's just nearby. But rest everything on a day-to-day basis, we need to create. Thank you. It's a longish answer, but I think I've made my point.
No, yeah. Thank you, sir. Very well articulated, and I'm sure KIDAI member Sugimuge Sahib will take this point further. And that's a factor when we try to tap into a senior talent from Nagpur. These are some of the questions they would ask. Earlier, the question used to be, hey, are there enough companies? Now there are enough companies. You can change the job. But are there these social amenities to hang out on Friday or over the weekend or Wednesday evening? So I'm sure the audience here would take care. Agrawal Sahab is here, so I'm sure he would take care. Moving on to Manu. Manu, now you already experienced the infrastructure in Nagpur. You also heard from Meena sir and Hardikar sir what kind of a future plan looks like.
Yeah.
We also expect you and your team to be our brand ambassador to the global GCC companies to bring them here. So while with that expectation, do you see what is the one improvement that you would like to call out and will notice that to make you comfortable positioning Nagpur as a GCC to your potential customer?
Okay.
And you can be very candid.
No, the least you can expect from me is to be frank here. And मैंने तो सोचा था कि मैं नागपुर का part हूँ, but so Hardikar sir, just very pleased to share with you that we also opened our office in Nagpur in last 1 year. And so I will just share a very practical aspect what you, sir, shared. When we opened, we were having some 30-40 people working from their offices, working from their home, and a very particular skill set. We thought like, okay, there's an opportunity, and obviously because it's such an easy to work with the Nagpur government, state government and all. So we opened up, and then we requested few to take transfer from different cities, including Bangalore. And I'm so happy to share with you, and it was just a trial. Let's go there for 3 months, understand what the thing is. And people agreed to stay here. Right? People agreed to stay here, they moved their families, and I'm not just talking about the youngsters, I'm talking about the mid-management as well. So, and we are very seriously looking at it, that how we can increase this presence, and because we are finding those benefits. We are talking about different skill sets, COEs to bring in. Now, obviously, this is not part of the GCC, but I'm seeing as a organization and seeing Nagpur as a destination. So definitely we are there. There are some great cases. Amit, what is required from us? What's missing? Honestly, I'm a very positive person. I don't think anything is missing here, sir. So we talked about. We can always talk about. You mentioned social is something definitely, because this is all of to us. This government cannot do, this is individual institutes cannot do, this is we have to do it somewhere coming at. But one thing which I would say, what can be done is, if we have a collective approach towards this. This can't be, okay, let government or MC have it in place, then I will move it. But this has to come collectively, smaller. We have CNR today. Can we have 2 or 3 more? And I can promise you, the moment you have 2 and 3, they will start doing their work on their own. Yeah. If you see, ITS industry in India progressed not because government did a great job. Sorry, sir, I'm nothing into that. But this is when you create an infrastructure, right? You have created opportunity for them. Then industry itself will take care of it. You just need to seed it. Right, so that if we all come together collectively, that's one aspect of it. Second is, if we have 2, 3 or more CNR type of companies coming in and setting up, establishing, and I'm sure we are actually planning with AID and the government of Maharashtra a session on GCC in next month or so. And I was talking to different GCC sector players, and I said, would you like to come and participate in this session? And please, consider that there is at that time even CNR were not there. They said, yes, yes, we will come, Ecos. So we'll probably have 30, 40, 50 people coming in and showing interest. So that's happening. So that's the second part of it. Third is somewhere we need to market. We need to market it together. Marketing is, we have a lot in place, but last time I was the only one coming from PwC. I have three partners coming in. They are promising their presence here, and partner is like an individual entity. So these are the 2-3 things, Amit, what I think about, but I don't think it's missing. One last thing I will say, we all remember, I know that we have the youngsters, they were not born that time. When Maruti started in Gurgaon, there was no ecosystem around it.
Correct.
But when Maruti started, the whole ecosystem was developed. So with the help of forward-looking government support, some from the industry, and these 2-3 things, and I'm sure we will be there.
No, thank you, Manu. So we have a required urban infrastructure in place. We are favoring policies. It is such initiatives as a one team, everybody coming together. This further push would bring. Thank you. Very interesting perspective. Meena sir, moving to you. In the GCC policies, there is a lot of discussion about ease of doing business. So from NMRDA perspective, how is NMRDA facilitating the single window experience for land allotment, building sanctions to reduce the gestation period for the global investors? And how do we bring that awareness? These might be existing, but how do we bring that awareness to the global investors about these things so it would help them? Otherwise, many a times the perception also plays a lot of role. And in addition to that, if you could talk about if there are any smart city initiatives that can benefit GCC.
You have three part of the questions. The first part, being the part of Urban Development Department, they have already developed two softwares called BPMS and Auto DCR, where all the land allotments and permissions are given online. So we are also following it in NMRDA, and it is a time-bound program under which an architect from the client will apply for certain permission, layout permissions or building permissions, and we will provide them. We have reduced the tables on which the file will go online, and that is how we are moving on. Currently, the average time where the layout permission is being filled up and has been sanctioned is around 35 days, and we want to reduce it to around half, near about 17 to 15 days. Because the survey in itself and the NOCs from the other department as per UDCP are called MSc DCL or probably irrigation department if Nala is going, or NOC from the national highway if it is adjacent to national highways are required. So if these all the organization are put in BPMS at a later stage, probably we could reduce more time. But we are on the target. The second part of your question is regarding the single window system for the corporations who are coming from outside. Yeah. In Navin Nagpur business district, we want to have a single window clearance system. So we had deployed an RFP and we have got a vendor. We want to create a system where central, state, as well as local authorities' permissions should be given and would be given under one roof. I don't know if a Brazil company wants to set up a small GCC or a startup or an office in Navin Nagpur district, how much time it will take if they will be going to a particular C or an organization to get it done. And it nearly, from the business perspective itself, from the registration to commencement, it nearly takes 1.5 years. Our target is 1 month, but it is, humongous task to carry on with this process and get it under one roof. But we are determined and we are signing an MOU with Institute of Chartered Accountants of India soon. And we had already started working. Mr. Dinesh Rathi from ICIA is working with us. And in future we will see. There are near about, this is not an exhaustive list, but there are near about 20 permission and licenses which are required for a business organization to start operating. We need to address all these issues when a corporation comes to a particular place. Probably this software could be replicated in other organizations once it is done. As I mentioned, it is a humongous task. We are giving us timeline for 6 months. Let's see how we will process it. The third part is regarding the smart city solutions. Whether you say it's smart city, whether you say it is a satellite city, whether any other business township you would mention. There are plethora of experiences, and we are blessed with our ACS, both the ACS, Asim Kumar Gupta sir as well as Govind Raj sir, to guide us time to time. We have our seniors like Shravan Hardikar sir who sit with us and guide us because he has plethora of experience of Nagpur, being the Nagpur Municipal Corporation Commissioner for the longest time, as well as Metro. So Nagpur as a place, people know what is required to be done, and we are taking all the feedbacks from them. How should we go ahead about it? Recently, we had a meeting how the Navin Nagpur should go ahead with the anchor investor meet, and we took guidance from Hardikar sir. So in this sense, instead of policy on paper, we would rely more on experience of the experienced people, how they had conducted these humongous tasks earlier, and can gain from their experience. And plus, the consultants are there. We are onboarding some good consultants right now. Colliers has joined us. We are going for another transaction advisor soon. We are going for architectural design consultant of national and probably an international skill. I can't divulge much detail about it, but we are expanding. And with the experience and knowledge, probably not only the smart city, to be telling about that smart city is a successful, I would have my own reservation, but we are going beyond that. How we will improve the living conditions of a city, and how we will give the opportunities to the next generation to be in the city where they can be comfortable in living and doing the business for the corporations.
Thank you, sir. So, can I say, I mean, the collaboration is already happening, different government agencies, and I know it's not so easy task because there are legal aspects, compliance aspects. So, but while it might not be a reality today that in a month's time we will get that, but can we expect very soon it would be a reality, and it would really bring a lot of ease of doing business either in a new business corridors or in a smart city? Because that's what I think some of the audience would be interested to know, and if you could convey, probably it would give a lot of positive message.
See, when we had conducted all the conferences earlier in small groups or big group on 17th of January with the stakeholders, so we got the feedback from them time to time that these are the problems what businesses face, these are the problems what our Nagpurians face. But we collated all these things. And there are concerns regarding how the government licenses and business operations should be done on time. Allotment, as you mentioned, should be done on time. And from the initiation of the idea of putting a business hub over here, business center over here, or business office over here, to successfully completing till you start your commencement. In this journey, we want to support them, and we want to reduce the time what they are taking. Yes, it's a huge challenge. Combining central, state, as well as local authorities' permission at one portal, it will be humongous task. Probably 1 month would not be a good time. I cannot comment on the time, but yeah, we have started it, and probably after there would be some, progress on this, I would be able to tell about it at a later stage.
Thank you, sir, being so candid. There is an intent, clearly there are efforts, so I'm sure very soon it would be reality. The last question of the discussion today. So Hardikar sir, we talked about how the Nagpur Metro has been game changer. You also shared your thoughts. So 2 points. One, you also mentioned how the uniquely Nagpur Metro is creating some social corridors among wherever your metro stations are. So is there any public-private partnership efforts that we can do, or if you are already doing, how that can accelerate that? And second, this is also an opportunity for you. Now Nagpur Metro has started, it's going very well. What expectation you have from the Nagpurkar or the audience sitting here? That's the another point we would like to hear from you, sir.
So now we are talking about GCC and in general about Nagpur. So Nagpur Metro is a huge line. Now we are already operational in 40 kilometers, and we would be soon expanding another 44 kilometers. So we are going to be 84 kilometer, 2 lines extending from Kanhan to Buttibori and from Hingna to Kapsi, that is towards east on Bandara Road. So it's a huge corridor. we have already done the comprehensive mobility plan for the city. And now we have also identified new corridors where the mass transit corridors are needed. So the new metros would keep on coming for the next 10 years. In the whole process, there is going to be a transit-oriented development. It is a 500-meter corridor along the metro lines, which is going to have higher density and better land use prospects than the rest of the city. And this is what we are working on. We are also working on preparing LAPs, that is the detailed land use action plans on ground for these station areas, to make the station areas much more multimodal, easy access, easy connectivity for people to come from one mode and transfer to the metro, or from metro to the other mode, commute easier and faster to their respective last mile, and then create an ecosystem around stations where there will be a lot of activities happening. Now this is going to be multi-use. It is not going to be just residential, but it is going to be mixed use. So there will be a lot of institutionals, so a lot of educational and other institutions like malls, like colleges, hospitals, they are all going to locate. So I have always stated that don't look at metro as only connecting or commuting mode. I would say for a city which never had metro, and suddenly metro comes in, it's a disruption of sorts. Because then people start seeing the entire city in a different light altogether. The future generation, now today entire my commuters, 50% of them are in the age group of 25 and below. Now in 10 years, these commuters are going to be the future investors in next 10 years. And all the developers here should start thinking that these 50% commuters today, that means I'm speaking of at least 1 lakh people who are savvy of using modern transport mode, are going to make a decision of investing either in their education, in their entertainment, or in their residence, or in their work along the 500-meter corridor along the metro. So the whole future investment is going to come along the metro corridor. Be it GCC, be it IT parks, be it great malls, be it entertainment centers, be it multiplexes, be it sports centers, be it educational institutions, be it hospitals. In next 10 years, the entire city is going to reshape along the TOD corridors. And entire life will happen within half a mile of a station. People like in Singapore, in London, you may travel all across the world. You just get out of metro and go in an underground and travel across a big mall, and you don't realize how much you have walked because you keep on doing all your chores along the path. And that's what we are looking at happening in next 10 to 15 years. So might as well see a lot of GCCs coming along the spaces which are either vacant along the stations, or which are going to redevelop because they are now old, are going to get redeveloped in a better way to accommodate for future GCCs coming along the metro stations. We also have big land parcels. We have good land parcel near our Mihan depot. We also have a good land parcel in east. We will have a lot of land parcels in future, but metro is a small landowner. More than that, it's a Mihan which is now really going to open up. Now the new Nagpur which is being proposed is also going to get connected in future by metro expansion, and eventually the business district will also get metro connectivity. Butibori is an industrial estate which is going to be covered by metro in this phase itself, which will start next year. And the next phase 2 of Butibori also will get covered in the future extensions. Eastern corridor is all logistics park. If you go into northern part, then Kamti, Kanhan are the new areas which are going to get connected with entire MP and Chhattisgarh, and these are going to be the new expansion zones for future. So the whole, all 4 corridors in the metro zone are going to get expanded, they are going to get densified, and they are going to have mixed land use, which is going to create lot of vibrancy in these groups. So metro just not going to bring connectivity. not the new mode of connectivity, last mile connectivity or anything. It's going to disrupt the way we are living in Nagpur itself, because the future is of metro. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I could clearly see the way the entire Japan as a country has evolved, right? Just near the metro station. And last couple years, I could experience the same in Nagpur, right? Metro stations are emerging as a corridor, either for a commercial districts or for the residential. So can we have a big round of applause for our visionary leaders here? Thank you. Thank you. A quick round of, maybe we can take two question, quick Q&A round. Yeah. And we have a panel from the earlier session as well. Yep.
Hello, sir. I'm Kunal Duddalwar from Himalayan Infra Projects. My question is to Shravan Hardikar, sir. So you spoke about comprehensive mobility plan. The future is autonomous vehicle. We are talking about the future of the city. So beyond metro, we have to think about autonomous vehicle. What plans do we have for creating urban environment that supports autonomous vehicles? Mahindra is coming up with a factory. They would move beyond EV now. They would move towards autonomous vehicles. So we have to be ready to support them as well and attract such companies. Thank you.
So, good question. Autonomous vehicles is a new space which is carving in India. The trials are yet to begin in India, but I am sure someday we will also have autonomous vehicles. So, I would say my last mile connectivity, the most preferred alternative for future is going to be autonomous vehicles. So, eventually we will have to pave the way, and that's why the comprehensive mobility plan is thinking of metro as a mass transit corridor linked with the residential and commercial areas around it through feeder movement. Now today the feeder is going to be manual feeder, eventually it is going to be autonomous feeder. So this is how we are going to see. Now the tests are going on pods and autonomous pods which are also getting tested. So a lot of technological innovations will happen around autonomous vehicles, and its safety and other norms are yet to develop and evolve in India. But I'm sure within next 10 years, you will see at least few corridors around metro are going to get converted to autonomous vehicles. Now, it's a space which is going to grow in Nagpur. Now, the automobile in Mahindra, it's a better new area which is opening up for Nagpur. I come from Pune also, so Pune is a big hub for manufacturing of automobile, and there is a good ecosystem, end-to-end connected ecosystem available in Pune for automobile. But this is an opportunity for Nagpur to become an R&D hub for the future mobility. So these are the new lot of areas which are going to emerge and come up in Nagpur city. I would say one of the corridors in Nagpur, one of the better advantage of Nagpur is that our streets are not yet as saturated as the big metro cities. So if anything has to be tested first, these are the better places where they can be tested first. So Nagpur can, corporation or the leadership from NIT also can think of providing access to some of the parts of roads for the testing of the autonomous vehicles for future.
Just for everybody's information before I take the question, we have Mr. Mario, who is an ex-MD of Singapore Metro, sir, here. He's here. So Mario, just can you say a few words?
Thank you, and I enjoyed all the things that you said. These are issues we had in Singapore as well. Singapore carries on metro about 2 million passengers a day and 1 million in bus. Yeah. One of the issues that I saw that Hong Kong does not have, and Japan not, is that in Singapore, all the assets belong to somebody else. So if you want to do multimodal transport, is it then managed by one organization? What about the retail space in the stations? Who does own all these things? That's my question.
So we are creating a model which is a hybrid model between LTA and MTU of Singapore. So LTA is totally owned by the Transport for London
Government.
TfL government. Singapore is a mixed model. Now what we are creating is a singular authority model called as UMTA. That is a Urban Metropolitan Transport Authority. Now authority, because the already existing land is already owned by private and public both, so we will have to create an ecosystem where the land will be jointly developed for a same or a shared purpose. But the users will have a seamless experience, one journey experience, and this is kind of a setup. Government of Maharashtra has recently published a draft of UMTA Act, and eventually once the state assembly passes it, all the cities, especially in the first phase, metropolitan cities where the metro is there, will have an urban metropolitan transit authority, which will then manage all these assets. So the mobility, even if there are multiple modes, they will be integrated in a seamless manner so that people will have a single journey experience. Even the property development will have some set of rules on the last TOD zones, which I said the LAPs will get created and the mixed user will get integrated with the area design. So this is a hybrid model is what we are developing now.
Thank you. And what about the rates, the fares? It's also a big discussion in Singapore. I remember that costs were increasing all the time, and the government LTA did not allow us to increase the fares for political reasons.
But that struggle will always be there, and that's why in Maharashtra we have a very good policy of only fare box revenue is 50% and non-fare box revenue is 50%. And non-fare box revenue comes during the growth period through various innovative measures that we have taken, like additional cess on the stamp duty, which is happening, all the property transactions that are happening inside the city, or the TOD additional premium on FSI that we are giving in the TOD areas, and other property development. We are also monetizing the land. We are also monetizing the advertisement rights on the transport and transit. So all these things will constitute 50%, which is going to cross-subsidize the fare box. We are very sensitive to price variations on ticket. You can imagine India being in a less wealthier pocket than the Singapore city. We are much more averse to fare increases. So we do it in a very tacit and accommodative way. We have found better ways of managing and cross-subsidizing the fare box revenue.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Gaurav Agarwala, past president of CREDAI, and we are into real estate development, resorts, education. My question is to Mr. Manu Dwivedi ji. See, we've come a long way from what we were in Nagpur, and we've been discussing in AID, otherwise GCCs, we discussed it last year as well. What is the one takeaway which all of us sitting here should take from this session and try to get that going in the next 6-8 months, so that when we meet next year, we are better prepared and we probably have more organizations and not one GCC only?
Okay, so when you say we all means the industry body, or?
So, no, it's basically the consultants, the authorities, the developers, the industry owners, all Nagpurians. Basically, we need to work on, as you said, we need to market Nagpur well.
Yeah.
We need to put things into ears of people.
See, what has happened is we got players from every state, analogy of cricket. We spoke last year, I think, if I remember correctly. So there's a lot which has changed. There's a positive discussion happening, and I can very safely say that at least 50 to 60 more senior officials of global GCC now know about Nagpur. That is one. So one thing is we need to get, and we talked about that one thing, and Ashish ji and Ajay ji, they are all working on it, how we can have a center team to work together. Because consultants can play their role in a particular way. We have local government, we have state government, we have AID body, and we have the investors as well, right? Because there is a overall gain for the Nagpur resident as well. The property prices, the development. So we need to take it all together. The only thing, I know that I'm very strategically, very high level, I'm saying that, but there is no one solution for it, but we need to bring it together under one body who is looking into 360-degree development. And if we all work together, I'm very sure this can be done. And this is exactly what happened. If you see in Ahmedabad, the gift city, you see Pune in pockets where it happened, wherever. Even within city, there are pockets. And that's only possible because these all stakeholders came together.
So that's what Naveen Nagpur is trying to do, sir. Sir is taking that
Absolutely, and
we
I'm
can
very
create
impressed.
that pocket and all of us can work together.
Yeah, we all can. And one thing, and what I heard from Sir is absolutely very clear. But one thing which I want to highlight is, there's a bottle. Bottle is up full in the tier 1 cities. They're looking for the second bottle to get that water. Can we be the one? So time is the essence there with all this investment. So I'm saying, maybe I'm sounding a little more optimistic, but I say like everything is there because I'm not looking for perfection 100%. With this 70-80%, we can start moving on, and I'm very sure we'll have more than one.
Great. So let's hope we can do something together.
Thank you.
Yes, much appreciated. Today's session was very informative and offered meaningful learning for all of us. As a token of appreciation, we would now like to felicitate our panel dignitaries with the mementos. May I request Mr. Vinod Tambi to please welcome and felicitate with the help of memento to Sri Manuji Dwivedi on the stage, please. Thank you so much. And now I request to Mr. Ajay Kapoor to please welcome and felicitate by the help of the mementos to our extreme dignitaries, Sri Sanjay Ji Meena on the stage, including Sri Shravanji Hardikar. Thank you, much appreciated, thank you. Please step forwards for the one. Definitely, he's such a good moderator of the day, AVP Global Logic, Mr. Amit Kari. Thank you, sir. Please step forward for the one group photograph here. Once again, this is Anchor Ankita More in front of you, and very warm welcome, Khasdar Audyogik Mahotsav Advantage Vidarbha 2026. This is the last day in the theme of the empowering growth. Vidarbha's Mega Industrial Expo Business Conclave and Investment Summit. This is the last day and the last panel discussion. After that, we have one more very important discussion in the main hall. So I request everyone to please kindly join that because it's going to be held with Honorable Gadkari ji and 10 more esteemed guests in the main hall as well. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to each and everyone who has been the part of this panel discussion and Advantage Vidarbha 2026, from our extreme guests and dignitaries to all the visitors present here.